Good evening and welcome back, braid schoolers. Feed-in braids are a pretty hard skill to master, so you can imagine stitch feed-ins are even harder. And I'm not ashamed to say I have yet to master the skill of stitches. But y'all know practice makes perfect, and I've definitely done my fair share and picked up some great tricks and useful tools along the way. So if you want to see how I achieve this stitched goddess look, grab your notes and let's get started. Today's video is brought to you by Feminine Attractions. This is a Black-owned company based out of Houston, Texas. They were kind enough to send me over their braiding hair and passion twist hair to review and try out for you guys today. Feminine Attractions offers a wide range of products and supplies designed specifically for braiders, so make sure you check them out. Their information will be linked in the description box below. Today I'll be using one package of their 24-inch braiding hair in the color 4 and 2 packs of the Empress Wave Passion Twist hair in the color T30. The packs of braiding hair come with 2 bundles in the pack, but they are really heavy bundles, so if you're going to use a different brand, I would say the typical 3 bundle packs you find in the local beauty supply will suffice for this look. To prep the hair, I've pulled off about 1/4 inch strands of the braiding hair and stacked them on one side of my 120 spool rack. I stack the passion twist hair on the right side without pulling it apart. What I want to do is make sure that the curl is maintained throughout the installation process for an easier install and to avoid excessive tangling, and if we want to fluff it out later, we'll do so at the end of the process. Stitch braids in most cases require the use of extra products to really get a good mold on the hair, especially if your client has thick roots. You'll want to be sure to have on hand a strong edge control or pomade product like these. The wax in these keep the hair molded down and protects from moisture that may cause curly hair to revert. On top of the edge control, I'll be using my handy Shine and Jam, and of course you'll need combs and clips to part and hold the hair out of the way. For this look, I'll be doing 6 braids straight back, 3 on each side of the head. To keep with the symmetry, I will start by parting the hair down the middle, then pre-parting the 3 sections on each side. Remember, use your edge control on the parts to keep them nice and clean. An important step in the process is to make sure the product you apply is evenly distributed throughout the roots. To help with this, I'm using my small bristle brush to smooth the product down all the way on each side of each row. Stitches are essentially a basic cornrow, but instead of grabbing hair as you go, you're strategically grabbing separate pieces of hair as you go down, gripping each piece as firmly as possible. In a previous stitch braid video, I showed you guys step by step my process for starting the braid and adding the hair. In that video, I showed you how to use either your nails or a comb to carve out your stitches, which is what I've done for the first couple of braids here, so that you lock the stitch in place. It's really easy to do when you don't add hair, so I highly encourage you guys to practice without adding hair first. One thing I've learned throughout the years is that stitches do not look the same on every head and every hair type. For example, it is easier to get a defined stitch on a head with low density fine hair because more of the scalp will show through. But on a client with very thick roots, high density hair, or even higher melanated scalps, the definition of the stitch may not show up as well. So don't get discouraged if they don't all look the same. Remember, every head is different and unique in its own way. In this case, my model has fine hair with a medium density, meaning the follicles on her scalp are pretty close together. Coupled with her thick roots, I really have to get in there and make sure that this product helps me along the way. Before we move on to the next stitch braid, I wanted to show you guys how I'm completing each braid. For this particular style, when I get to the bottom of the braid, I'm going to start inserting my passion twist hair into each rotation. Then I'm going to leave out a leg of each passion twist hair after every couple of rotations. If you guys remember from previous videos, this is what we call tree braids. I believe I added about 5 or 6 pieces to the bottom of each braid. You can add as little as you want or as much as you want. When I reach my stopping point, I'm going to slip knot the hair 1 or 2 times, and for added security, just a drop of nail glue to seal it up and keep it from unraveling. For those of you who don't have nails or still struggle using a comb to cut your stitches, you can use this tool. It's called a pinky hair parting tool. It's a ring with a point on it and it fits on your pinky just like this. You normally see this tool used often for beaded extensions or hair coloring, but I find it incredibly useful for carving out stitches as well. It takes a bit of practice and you do have to be mindful of where your pinky is when it's not in use because you don't want to accidentally stab your client. I'm essentially starting the braid, cutting my stitch, then adding the hair underneath each rotation. One key tip to stitches is to not add too much hair. If the braid is too big and bulky, you won't be able to see the stitches. This type of braiding takes an immense amount of practice, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play out in real time for this braid, so those of you at home who are following along can see exactly what I'm doing with each stitch and with each add-on. I also want to quickly side note here that I am absolutely in love with this braiding hair. Y'all, it is really hard to find hair that has the right amount of texture for grip and low luster so that it looks more natural. I know this hair is legit because the owner is a veteran braider herself. I will actually be hosting a clubhouse room with her this week, so stay tuned to the end for details on that. But yeah, this hair is really legit, y'all. So shout out again to Feminine Attractions for sending this over. I highly, highly recommend this hair, especially for cornrows and box braids. Again, I'll leave a link to their site below, and if you use code VandyV, you will get 10% off your order. So yeah, thanks girl. Shout out. You're the truth with this. So we've reached the end of the braiding process, and now I want to set everything in place so it lasts her a while. I'm using the Tropical Roots setting foam for her stitches here, and I'm going to wrap her edges with the rapid styling strips and blow dry everything down. For this video, I waited until the end to set her base and wrap her edges, but typically to save time, I would braid the base first, tie everything down, and while I give it time to set, I finish off the ends. I'm going to go through and spot check the ends for loose straight pieces and cut them off. Then I'm going to fluff out the Empress Passion Twist for added volume. Once I've dried everything down, I like to go in with a high hold hairspray like Pump It Up or Gots to Be. That's just going to help keep down flyaways and block moisture from making her natural hair revert. This style took me an hour and a half to complete. She'll tie her edges down at night and tuck her ends into a satin bonnet, and with proper care, this can last her up to 4 weeks. As her hair grows out, the stitches will be less defined, but her braids will still be intact. So that completes today's video. As always, if you learned something, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Homework will be to practice your stitches without adding hair, you guys. Comment below, what's your preferred method to stitch? Your nails, a comb, or do you use something else we don't know anything about? We're all here to learn from each other, so share with us in the comments below. Oh, and for my professional braiders and entrepreneurs out there, please join me for a Clubhouse chat starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be moderating with other veteran braiders and YouTubers to discuss business tips, social media strategies, and we'll even critique your work. So make sure you have your IG pages updated and follow us for updates. You don't want to miss this free game we're going to give out to you guys. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content like this every week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!